Hi, it's Nikki Howard here at Enchanted Creations. So I'm on the fourth video that shows you how to take an empty basic bottle to something that looks like this. So in the previous videos, if you haven't seen them, go and find them. That shows how to do the layering, then how to put acrylic paint on the layers, and then using alcohol inks rather. And then in this video, I'm now going to be showing you how I then, once again, go back to the acrylic paint and just paint on top of these layers. So that the first lot of acrylic paint was building up the layers, creating texture and interest. You can still see some of the paint coming through, which is what I wanted. And then alcohol inks just create this really vivid background to it. Now I tend to really work with a dry brush at this stage. I'm actually going to change my brush, and using a tiny bit of paint, I'd often get the paint and then I would just dab it on the tablecloth, on the table or on the plate, whatever, just to get rid of excess, because I really don't want this to be too bright. I want it just to slowly build up and accentuate the layers. And what I love to do is use a light colour. I'm using just a base, it was like a skin colour, so that it highlights the layers, so that once I paint on top, those layers will stand out more. So I'm really wanting the brush just to touch the layers. And it's easier to build up than it is to take off. So there, just a little bit too much. So I'm skimming over. I like to take this stage, more carefully. It's a different way than previously building up the layers. Let me just zoom you out a little bit. I'll just be knocking you with my paintbrush. There's hardly any paint on my brush at all. And this is why I said on one of my first videos that I love using cut-off tubes at this point, where, you know, I've cut the tubes in half, because the paint tends to be a little bit drier. There's not so much in there, so I don't have so much tendency to put too much on my brush. Thick old paint is great at this point. And also using a lighter colour, you can see how it is almost creating a slightly aged look. Faded. Using a little Pebeo Studio turquoise. Yeah, so please don't throw tubes of paint out without cutting them open and getting those last dregs out, because they really do serve on this stage. I don't want to be squeezing loads out of my plate and not being able to use it all because I'm going so sparsely with it. tube I'm just going to cut in half. We think these tubes are empty, but they're not. They have a lot at the bottom, a lot at the top. At this stage, really less is definitely best. There's nothing worse, and I've done it. I've put in too much on and then trying to take it off, and you can really just work on one area that you really want to highlight. Like I just love this netting part of it. So I'm putting more white on there to be building up a bit more colour on this part, because I think it's just so interesting. I'm just mixing in a bit of green with a bit of beige. So you can see how I said on the first video, when you saw how it was, the piece of, you know, paper that was stuck on and old cotton bags, and how it just completely transformed it, and how you just get these interesting patterns that you don't really see when you put the netting on. And you can see my plate of paint. There's barely anything on that. So it really is using the last little dregs. But you can see how that is just so interesting. Right, a bit of black. Black in really tiny amounts is lovely as well, because it once again it adds contrast and interest. And I don't like these bottles to be really bright. I want them to be, you know, enchanted. I want them to be a little bit mysterious. So the black is just taking down anything that's a bit too vivid. This bit I should be doing later on. I should be covering all of this so that, you know, I'm not worried about that at all. I'll just stick that down later, and I should be doing the top. And so what I always love to do is use gold and bronze. So once again, I'm just brushing it off of the paper just to get any excess off. So I don't want this to be tacky. I'm really slowly building up. And I just love how the gold highlights all the texture. And it kind of reminds me, I can't remember what it's called, but this Japanese way that they often show a picture of a broken bowl joined together with gold. And it's kind of like it's, you know, it's our imperfections that make us perfect. And it's highlighting all those imperfections and making it so it's the imperfections, actual fact, that make the bottle. I'm just going to dry this quickly. I mean, it is more or less dry, but it's just very, very slightly tacky. And there is also a gorgeous bronze that I love to use. And this is really nice as well. On the top of a tube, the paint is really sticky and a bit dry. And that is often the perfect texture for doing this, because it really stops you from having any excess on your brush. So it's just adding like different gold layers. So I've gone from the gold to the bronze. I've got like an antique gold. You can really see, especially at the bottom there, how it just picks up the folds. And what I will do at the end of a bottle like this, I'll leave it for a day or two to settle. And then I tend to go around and just see if there's any areas that maybe there's too much gold, or there's not enough, or that the colour's too strong, and just very gently, once again, layering it. And you can keep on doing this with the inks and the paints. But there you can see the actual effect of the ink and then the layering on top. So I hope you enjoy these videos. I will do probably a final video just to show you how I do the top and the bottom, so you see that it's finished. And then, as I said, I should just be going over very gently just to see if there's any adjustments I can do to this in the next few days. I like to step away from them for a while so I kind of detach, so I can come back with a fresh eye. So do go and have a look on my website, nikkihoward.com, where I've put some of my creations, and you can also find me on Facebook and Instagram as Enchanted Creations. Thank you very much for watching. Please, put in some comments what you thought about the bottle. If you have any ideas that you would love to try, or that you have ideas for textures, please, just pop them in the comments. And if you want any more videos, don't forget to subscribe. Take care.